Inside the Secret Life of Girls, Boarding Schools, True African Story. By Farida Musa Sweetie. Page 1. GC Unity College was an institution with a storied past. As one of the premier schools in Bauchi, it held the unique distinction of being the only boarding school that drew students from every corner of Nigeria, unifying the North and the South. Its reputation for academic excellence and the sheer dedication of its faculty made it a coveted destination for families seeking a transformative education. Ummi slowly opened her eyes, taking in a deep, steadying breath. An overwhelming sense of joy filled her heart as she finally found herself within the school's gates. Her father, Abba, navigated to the designated parking area. He opened his door, and she quickly followed him. They went directly to the administration block to complete the necessary formalities. Afterward, he offered some final words of advice, handed her pocket money, and departed. It was only then that a heavy feeling of loneliness settled in her heart. The administrative officer arranged for a senior student to be called, introducing her as the new house captain. "Dija, this is Ummi," the officer said. "Please get her settled in a room and keep an eye on her." "Yes, sir," Dija replied curtly. She turned, motioned to a few other girls who looked to be new juniors, and instructed them to pick up Ummi's luggage. They followed her, carrying the bags like porters deep into the hostel. It was in that moment Ummi first realized that boarding school life required a kind of worldly wisdom she hadn't anticipated. Though it was broad daylight, she saw things that felt wrong, students with a boldness, a lack of shame or piety that startled her. She closed her eyes for a moment, silently condemning the immodest ways some had altered their uniforms. Her heart began to pound heavily in her chest. She followed Dija into a room with a sign that read, "House Captain Room." Ummi stepped inside and let out a quiet sigh of relief. The room was simple, containing only 2 neatly made bunk beds. She offered a silent prayer of thanks, grateful to have landed in a quiet room, far from the more chaotic students she had passed on the way. The juniors set her bags down and left. "You'll stay here," Sister Dija said, pointing to a corner. "Get your things arranged." And with that, she was gone. Ummi stared at her luggage, feeling utterly overwhelmed. It was now evening on a weekend. She had just finished organizing her belongings when she heard the loud chatter of students returning from Arabic class. Suddenly, a voice rose above the din, singing a religious song with a melody so sweet it captivated her. Alhama Rabbi Sali Allah, Muhammadan Shugabin Gaskia. The beautiful hymn, praising the Prophet, was cut short. The same angelic voice, now twisted with rage, erupted in a torrent of curses. "I swear to God," the voice shrieked. "Some filthy, rotten girl stole the new mosquito net I hung out to dry. You better bring it back right now, or I will tear this place apart. There is no one I won't take down today." Another girl's voice chimed in, exasperated. "Zara, for heaven's sake, are you ever tired of cussing? You were literally just singing a hymn, and now you're unleashing curses like a pagan." "You back off, nature," Zara snapped, raising her hand. "Stay out of my business. I'm warning you, don't get involved. I swear by the God who gives me breath, you and I will have a serious problem. It's nothing for me to take this fight outside." "Wow, just for talking? You're unbelievable," Nature replied, shaking her head. "But fine, just know I'm not the one you'll be fighting, I know better." She walked away, leaving Zara fuming. Ummi's mind reeled. Is this really how it is here? She thought, her face a mask of shock and disbelief. How can a person curse their own parents like that? She couldn't believe this girl's behavior. She had never imagined this side of boarding school, and in just a few short minutes, she was already witnessing a complete breakdown of character. Shaken, Ummi picked up her bucket and headed outside. She needed to fetch water from the borehole she'd seen in front of the hostel to perform her ablution for the Maghrib prayer. She walked with her head down, moving carefully, lost in her thoughts. Without warning, she collided hard with someone. Ummi looked up in a panic, but before she could see who it was, the sharp, stinging crack of a vicious slap exploded across her face. It felt like a bolt of lightning. "Are you blind, you stupid little fool?" a girl sneered. "Why would you just run into me?" Ummi looked at the girl, stunned. She vaguely registered that other students in the area were scrambling to get out of the way. Some even squatted low to the ground, greeting the girl respectfully before hurrying on. This was clearly someone with authority. Before Ummi could find her voice to apologize, a second slap, even harder than the first, snapped her head back. "I swear, even if you're deaf, you'll hear me now," the girl hissed, grabbing Ummi by the front of her shirt. "Let's see who's brave enough to stand up for you, you little idiot." She began to yank Ummi like a rag doll, dragging her back toward the hostel. From a distance, Ummi heard other students start to buzz. "Oh man," one voice whispered. "Looks like Lulu's got fresh meat." Ummi's heart hammered against her ribs, and a cold, sickening knot twisted in her stomach.